know homophobic people's favorite genre of music? Shoegaze. And then you've got the UGG slippers.
Oh, those slippers are kind of mean.
Those are gas. And it honestly looks like the trans pride flag.
Yeah.
Which, trans rights, let's go, everybody.
Absolutely.
Now we've got a really long one. I am bisexual and I am bad at baseball. At the plate, I strike out over and over again because I am swinging all over the place. When the inning changes, I am still up at bat. I am on the lineup for both teams. Do not play baseball with me. I am bisexual.
Yeah, this is just taking the, what is it, switch hitting?
Yeah, bat for both teams.
Yeah, batting for both teams, switch hitting to the absolute extreme and just really diving into it is baseball. It's not sexuality, it's just baseball.
Yeah, it's extrapolating it to a place it does not need to go.
No.
And it's just a run-on sentence, scatterbrained thing. It's so funny, and it's on a baseball shirt.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I love this one.
Shout out my bisexual kings and queens.
Next we got lesbians
For Lizzo.
For Lizzo.
This one rocks.
I mean, it's great. I just can't believe it's real. I've never heard it in the wild.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great for the gay community.
Totally.
But it feels weird for me as a straight Lizzo fan to be like, oh, here I go. I'm a lesbian. Yeah. It feels like I'm halfway in a room I shouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fair. But I think for the LGBTQ community, amazing.
Two big thumbs up.
Yeah, big thumbs up.
I love Marvin Gaye, but we're not going to call his fan base the gays. That feels a little wrong.
Luckily, this does have wordplay. It's not lesbians.
It's a lesbian.
It's lesbians.
And I have kind of heard that mushing and mashing of lesbians just to be a thing.
Lesbian.
There you go.
Lesbian, yeah.
Lesbian. You can kind of just mash up that word, I guess. But again, that feels a little wrong.
But Lizzo's also very funny, so I could see her getting a kick out of calling her fans lesbians.
Yeah.
So what are we doing with this?
A B.
B?
Yeah, and I feel very firmly about that, and I will not budge.
Okay. What house would you be in?
I don't care. I hate that transphobic bitch. I don't want to be in her fucking book. Hope she burns in a house fire. Not die either. Severely burned, it ruins her appearance. And even her loved ones look at her just a little, they kind of, they don't want to look at her. You know what I mean? It's like that tight burn skin, and it's pink. And she has to wear a lot of lotion. She's like a scar. She's a walking scar. That's just me though, man. That's just me. So that's the house I want to be in. The one that J.K. Rowling's in when it lights on fire. And I get out and I trap her in the bathroom. And I stand outside and I smoke a half pack of Camel Blues. She had it coming.
Yeah, I think I'd be Gryffindor. Then we have anti-diaries.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the toughest conversation.
Absolutely. So in this song, Kendrick recounts his relationships with two trans family members, his aunt and his cousin, and how that affected not only his family, but also his relationships with his friends, and then ultimately his religion.
Yes.
Now, during this song, Kendrick does use the F slur multiple times. And while I object to the use of that word, no matter what, I understand why Kendrick used it in this context. I think it's a hard pill to swallow overall.
Yeah.
And again, Kendrick is a straight man. We're two straight men sitting here. I look at the way that Kendrick talks about this as honest from his perspective.
Yeah.
And also in line with kind of his idea throughout this album that he cares more about the conversation that he's having than how he's going to be perceived.
Again, he's having to admit the mistakes he's made in the past to actually heal and move forward and be better instead of just clouding them up or blanking them out.
Yeah, totally.
I'm never going to say that again, and that therefore I'm better, in his mind, isn't actually correcting the wrong.
No.
It's the recognition of it, and now from this point on, we can move forward and truly be better.
Yes. What I will say overall, though, is that however trans people and other members of the LGBTQIA plus community react to this is valid.
Yeah.
Because it's about them.
Right.
Kendrick is only giving his perspective as somebody with those people in his life.
Something very nuanced.
Kendrick is not trans,
yes,
and neither are we. However they feel about it is valid to their experience.
Yeah.
If they think that using that word is a net negative no matter what, if putting that word in this many people's heads is overall negative, then there is some merit to that because that is going to affect their lives more than it's going to affect ours.
Right.
So I would say to anybody who feels a certain way about this song or feels a way about the backlash about this song, listen to what trans people have to say about it. That being said, just talking about what Kendrick says here, about how he interacts with these people being parts of his life, and the things he used to say when he was younger being insensitive, and then taking that journey all the way till he's arguing with his pastor, standing up for his trans cousin, saying, do we not love our neighbor? And going to bat for that and saying, I chose humanity over religion is something a lot of people can learn, because it's not even just religion. People have political ideologies, they have peer friend groups with culture, things that you feel like you can't say because of the people that you're around, things you feel like you should say because you're around people who speak that way.
Yeah, willingness to participate, to fit in.
You have to choose humanity. Then he takes it to a conversation that he did have with his cousin where he was talking about how words can be absent of intent. He's saying, like, I said that word, but I didn't mean anything by it, so it's not that big of a deal. His cousin challenges him by saying, well, you brought up that girl on stage, which was a show, I believe, in Alabama, where he brought up a white fan on stage. It was very viral for a moment. And she was performing Mad City with him and rapped the N-word. And then, you know, Kendrick took the mic from her, and then everybody on the internet had all this stuff to say about it, saying, well, was the word absent of intent there? That is the overall conversation. Kendrick is realizing that the intent is baked into that word.
Yes.
You can't remove the meaning of a word from it.
From someone else's perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a super important song in the context of the album.
Absolutely.
It almost feels like it's a build up until like this point, and then there's a little bit of an emotional release after this.
It's a touchy subject overall, obviously. And I think Kendrick knew that this was going to be talked about from many different perspectives. And I think all of those perspectives are important at the moment. Yeah. It's not my place to say at all what the impact of this song will be, but I think it is good that people are having conversations about it.
And it's just coming from his mouth. Although he does use inflammatory language in the process, it's a monumental step in a way of someone of his stature to open up this conversation.
Did you hear about the Cardi announcements yesterday?
Music.
His album's called Music. He referenced some kind of coming out about his sexuality as well.
Oh, really?
In the interview. Well, he talks about first being very tolerant of everybody. In the interview, he says, I have gay friends, I have trans friends. Anybody who knows me in real life knows I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah. And then he says, I done dated, and it literally it's a written interview. It says, I done dated ... And then it just goes to the next question. People are like, I done dated who? I done dated, like, what's going on? I like that it's kind of opening him up. The same way I thought Young Thug might do that. Right. But Young Thug kind of backtracked on a lot of the progressive values and at least the progressive aesthetics he was trying to push. And I hope that Cardi does address those things and kind of lead all of those people that are following him in the right direction. You know, because there are a lot of people out there who would be too tough to embrace things like that, and then he could allow them to do that. And I think that would be really good.
Yeah. Shout out Cardi.
Next, our first brand tweet.
Okay.
This is Twitch tweeting, no matter the month, always remember to hashtag stream with pride, with a video/graphic that says, when the G in LGBTQIA+ also stands for gamer. For gamer. For gamer.
Oh, the tripler.
The G in LGBTQIA+ no longer stands for just gay, but also gamer.
This seems tasteless.
Absolutely. It is like awful.
It's like, hey, we stand with you, but by the way, we're going to replace some of the words in the acronym with what we stand for. Video games.
What's gayer than video games? And the L actually stands for L's in the chat.
This is an F. This qualifies for me as the abhorrent, terrible, awful, makes me hate Twitch. And what is that, a fire angel in the top right?
You know who's a fire angel? Shohei.
Oh, man, that guy plays both ways. Wouldn't it be cool if he was bi in real life, too?
Just for, like, the thing of bats for both sides or whatever, switch hitter, like, that's stupid.
Plays for both teams.
Baseball and bisexuality have had enough connect. Like, people need to stop. It's like, oh, he bats for both teams. He's a switch hitter. Like, shut up. It's not all about baseball.
Well, it makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense in people's heads, I guess, but it's
especially to the straight man. The straight man, you know, loves baseball, and he needs a good sports analogy to help understand sexuality in today's world.
I guess that's true. Sports analogies are helpful.
Straight guys are dumb, and they need sports analogies.
They're dumb narcissists.
Dumb narcissists. I've been saying that for a while.
Straight men are dumb narcissists. Let's generalize for a second.
Please.
Let's paint with a broad brush while we're playing an art game.
Why don't you?
They can only think about themselves and the things that they know. And when they get an analogy, that one will stick with them. They'll repeat it every single time somebody brings something up. Like their friend is like, nah, I just don't understand these bisexuals. It's like, okay, I get gays, you know. What do you mean bisexual? And then that guy's like, well, you know baseball, right?
Do I?
You know, some guys can bat left and bat right.
Well, I guess you're right. Some of my favorite players of all time have batted on both sides of the plate.
So it's like that, you know?
Okay, I get it. It gives you an advantage against the defense. If the pitcher's righty, you go up left.
You know what? My understanding of baseball has helped me become a more tolerant person. If we are considering the woke agenda, then when are we gonna get Smokey the Twink? If there are any referees watching, I think that was a fair play. I think I'm allowed to use it in that context.
Yeah,
the wordplay thing.
twink,
Bear and twink. Okay, cool. Again, would like to reiterate my steadfast support of the LGBTQ plus community, and
Thank you for sponsoring this video.
no.